With the Razr Ultra 2025, Motorola set out to not only create the best flip phone ever, but arguably one of the best phones of 2025. The Snapdragon 8 Elite and 16GB of RAM provide stellar performance, and improvements to the camera, battery, and charging really take it to the another level. Moto AI could use a little tweaking, but it offers a fairly comprehensive suite of features in addition to Google AI or Gemini capabilities. That said, with all this power comes a high price tag, which may understandably turn some consumers away. If you have followed the Razr series for the past few years, then the design of the Razr Ultra 2025 shouldn't surprise you. It looks nearly identical to its predecessor, which in the case would be the Razr Plus 2024, sporting the same curved frame, rounded corners, and massive cover panel. The difference lies in the slightly larger display size, the new materials on the back, and the IP48 water and dust resistance for improved durability. The Razr Ultra 2025 color options are quite interesting this year as Motorola continues to move away from muted shades. I have the rear red color on my unit, which incorporates Motorola's now standard vegan leather and is admittedly the least interesting of the Razr Ultra 2025 colors. I previously spent some time with the soft Alcantara and sturdy wood finishes during my hands-on, and I must say Motorola has given users quite the selection of sensory goodies to choose from. I also like that Motorola switched from a glossy frame to brushed metal, as it gives the overall design a rustic sheen. Opening the phone feels great thanks to the new titanium reinforced hinge. It's stronger and makes it easier to open the Razr Ultra with one hand. It almost springs open with a satisfying click, which sounds about as good as it does when closing the phone. When the phone is open, you are greeted with a 7-inch OLED display that looks much punchier than previous models. This is likely a result of the Pantone collaboration, which aims to provide authentic and vivid images. The sharper Super HD resolution also makes content look crisp, while the variable 165Hz refresh rate helps make UI elements move with a sleek, buttery smoothness. Motorola offers 3 display presets for controlling color display: natural, radiant, and vivid. I would suggest radiant as it splits the difference and gives you a bit more vibrancy without overdoing it. There are also a few settings for eye protection, including flicker prevention for users with PWM sensitivity, which is nice to see as Motorola continues improving the overall quality of its displays. The Razr Ultra 2025 is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite, making it the first flip phone to feature this chipset. Coupled with 16GB of RAM, it theoretically surpasses other flagships, at least on paper. It may seem like overkill, and it probably is, but the result is the kind of performance you'd expect from a top-tier flagship phone, as I experienced no lag or hiccups in my use. Unfortunately, the Geekbench 6 scores don't really reflect this. It scores lower than the last year's Z Flip 6 and Razr Plus 24 in single-core tests, although it performs significantly better in multi-core tests. My guess is that Motorola may have adjusted the clock speed of the prime cores to help with thermal management, as flip phones tend to get quite warm in the top half when overworked. I don't put much stock in benchmark tests, and my real-world use of the phone has proven to be quite exceptional. That said, if you do care, then it's certainly something to consider. The rather large 4700 mAh battery should help offset the more powerful chipset and high-resolution display. So far, I have no complaints about battery life, and the phone can easily get me through the day, although I haven't managed to get much more than that. Will usually have to top up while I sleep. Fortunately, power users will appreciate the 68-watt charging, which fully charges the phone in approximately 40 minutes. Although I haven't been able to test out the top 30-watt wireless charging speed, as all of my chargers top out at 15 watt, it is good to see a company in the US moving the needle on charging speeds aside from OnePlus. The Razr Ultra 2025 runs Android 15 and will receive 3 OS upgrades and 4 years of security updates, which notably falls behind other flagship competitors. The latest version of Hello UX isn't significantly different from Motorola's Android 14 software, although it incorporates several Motorola or Razr specific features throughout. Motorola has packed as much as AI possible into its Moto AI software, which after some feedback from early testers feels significantly better than last year's beta, with more easily accessible features that can be found in the dedicated Moto AI app. For example, notification summaries are available with the click of a button and are now actionable, and thanks to Perplexity integration, Moto AI will pull up contextual actions based on whatever on your screen when you trigger it, similar in a way to Gemini. Image Studio and Playlist Studio are fun ways to utilize AI to generate images and context-based music playlists, although the latter is currently limited to Amazon Music, which I imagine won't be of much benefit to many people. The Razr still features Gemini and some Google AI features to complement Moto AI, and unlike Galaxy AI, Moto AI isn't injected into every aspect of the OS, which some may find refreshing. That said, there are several ways to trigger it, including the new dedicated AI button and double tapping the back of the phone. One of the coolest features is Look and Talk, which triggers Moto AI by simply looking at the Razr while in tent or stand mode. You can immediately start talking to it and ask follow-up questions, although you'll have to wait until it's done speaking or press the mic icon to interrupt it. It's not as seamless as Gemini Live, which allows you to interrupt and mid-sentence, and I hope Motorola will enable this feature in future updates. Aside from Look and Talk, triggering Moto AI regularly doesn't immediately let you talk to it, which feels like a missed opportunity. You have to tap the mic icon, which adds an unnecessary extra step to the process. Moto AI also isn't as fast as Gemini when answering questions, which can be a little frustrating in an age when consumers expect immediate information. The AI key is also a missed opportunity, as it feels severely limited when compared to other implementations of AI buttons. Hopefully, Motorola will allow more customization here, because it could become a very useful hardware feature. Overall, I think Motorola's overall AI execution could use some work, while we can explore topics further with the Perplexity integration. I would like to see this type of visibility extended to other AI models that consumers are likely more familiar with, such as Copilot, Meta AI, or Gemini. Fortunately, if Moto AI isn't for you, it's easy enough to ignore it and stick to using Gemini, which is my go-to. The cover screen experience hasn't changed much from the Razr Plus 2025, which is great. In fact, it got better with Android 15. Not only can you natively use apps on the cover screen, but you can also long press apps for additional actions, and now even set shortcuts to certain app functions on the app panel for even faster access to things without opening the phone. Furthermore, you can enable multiple app and widget panels, which can come in handy if you want separate app pages instead of scrolling through a single panel. That said, the overall functionality of using apps on the cover screen remains the same, and it is still one of my favorite ways to use the Razr. Lo and behold, the Razr Ultra 2025 takes great photos from the primary sensor. Even at 2x zoom, the colors feel much punchier than I'm used to seeing from Motorola, which is likely a product of the Pantone collaboration. Dynamic range also feels improved during the day, with better handling of low light and nighttime images. The result is images that feel more Samsung in terms of color and saturation, while the added depth and definition remind me a bit of a Pixel. I wouldn't say image quality is anywhere near the impressive quality of the cameras on Oppo, OnePlus or Vivo phones, but so far I feel pretty confident that the Razr Ultra 25 can compete fairly comfortably among the best Android cameras. Here you can see some camera samples of Motorola Razr 2025 Ultra. The Motorola Razr Ultra 2025 actually delivers. It's easily the most stylish phone out there, no matter your color or material wise. It's also finally caught up to the big players with zippy performance, stellar battery life, and cameras that are no longer just an afterthought. That astonishing cover display seals the deal, making this phone more than the sum of its undeniably snazzy parts.